Good evening, boys and girls. Are you ready for bed? Are you all snuggled up and ready for another Lights Out bedtime story? Well, you're in for a little treat tonight, because tonight's story is called Daphne, the Disney Princess, and it's a improvised story by me, right now. Once upon a time, there was a princess called Daphne, and she had one leg which was longer than the other. Now, when she was a baby and crawling around, it didn't make too much difference, but as she grew bigger and as she started to walk, the problem started to become apparent. And the king was the first one to notice. When they would travel somewhere, of course, there was a long, straight red carpet laid out for them from the carriage to the castle, from the carriage to the restaurant, from the carriage to the train station, and from the train station to the next castle. But the problem was, Daphne couldn't walk in a straight line because she had one leg longer than the other, and a short leg, her kneecap, was a bit funny, and people said it was dizzy, and that's why she walked in a circle. And so soon she became known as Daphne, the Disney Princess. Well, the daddy, the king, wasn't too happy about his daughter being teased so much, and so he had to do something about it. And what he did was quite remarkable. He called up all the builders and diggers and architects from around the country, and he uprooted and dug up every building and train station, school and hospital and park and playground and horse riding place. And he set off from his front door, and he built them all on a big circle. So as soon as he left the castle, he would get to the school, which was just slightly around the corner. And then from there was a playground on the arch going right round. And if you were to jump in a helicopter and have a look at the castle from above, you would see it was a huge ring shape. And along the ring, starting at the top like the diamond ring, would be the castle. And along the ring, as I said, there were schools, parks, hospitals, banks, post offices, friends' houses, and so on. And that's because when Daphne would wake up and go to school, walk to school, she would walk in a round circle. And so the king made everything round on one big circle. And at the other end of the circle, just before she was going to come back home, was a little cave. And in that cave were two little men. They were dwarfs. Some say they were part of the little dwarfs that lived with Snow White. The 7 little dwarfs. People said that it was 2 of them, but nobody could be so sure. And so what Daphne did in the cave was to be stretched. Well, not all of her, but just one of her legs, the short one, the one with the dizzy knee. And every day before she got home, she would go into this cave with these little dwarves, and they would pull her leg. And it didn't work for 15 years, and on her 18th birthday, one of the dwarves pulled extra hard, and there was a click, and suddenly her legs were the same length, and she started to walk in a straight line. Well, the princess, now without a dizzy knee, was so happy. Her father was pleased as well. but only slightly pleased, because now he had to call back all the builders and diggers and plumbers and architects to make everything back as it was, in straight lines and squares and blocks. Well, by the time he'd finished that, it was time for Daphne to get married. And you know who she married? Well, that's another story on the Lights Out podcast. Bedtime stories for boys and girls for when the lights go out. Good night.